The crystalline halls of the Galactic Council chamber stretched for kilometers, their translucent walls refracting the light of 1,000 distant stars. Within this monument to intergalactic justice, representatives from 400 civilizations had gathered for what they believed would be a routine execution. They were catastrophically wrong. Elsa stood in the center of the judgment circle, her wrists bound by quantum shackles that phased through multiple dimensions to prevent escape. At 19 Earth years, she was young even by human standards, yet she had been declared the most dangerous entity in the known galaxy. Her auburn hair fell across eyes that burned with a defiance the Council had never encountered in a condemned prisoner. High Judge Coranthes, a being of pure energy contained within a biomechanical shell, floated above the assembly. Its voice resonated through every translator in the chamber, a sound like thunder across dying stars. Human-designated Elsa 7734, you have been found guilty of crimes against galactic peace. Your species' reckless experimentation with quantum consciousness has endangered reality itself. The sentence is immediate atomic dissolution. Elsa's lips curled into a smile that sent ripples of unease through the assembled delegates. You don't understand what we've done, do you? Beside her, restrained by a separate containment field, Verk watched with the calculated patience of someone who had been waiting for precisely this moment. Where Elsa was fire, Verk was ice, a 22-year-old quantum physicist whose mind operated on levels that had terrified the galaxy's most advanced civilizations. His dark eyes tracked every energy signature in the room, processing tactical data that would overwhelm most organic brains. Silence, Coranthes commanded. Your species discovered quantum entanglement of consciousness and weaponized it. You created soldiers who could exist in multiple states simultaneously. Abomination. We created evolution, Elsa replied calmly. Something your stagnant civilizations abandoned 1,000,000 years ago. The chamber erupted in outrage. 400 species, each believing themselves superior to the primitive humans, howled for immediate execution. They had all read the reports. Humanity's quantum consciousness project had successfully entangled human neural patterns with the fundamental fabric of spacetime itself. The implications terrified every advanced civilization in the galaxy. What they didn't know was that Elsa and Verk weren't test subjects. They were the success. Execute the sentence, Coranthes intoned, and the execution matrix began to charge. Energy that could atomize a small moon began concentrating in the center of the judgment circle. Elsa closed her eyes. To any observer, it appeared she had accepted her fate. But in the quantum realm, the space between spaces where probability and reality intertwined, she was anything but passive. Verk spoke for the first time, his voice carrying a harmonic frequency that shouldn't have been possible from human vocal cords. Judge Coranthes, I have one question before we die. The High Judge paused the execution sequence, intrigued despite itself. Speak, human. Your body is contained energy, correct? Held together by a quantum probability matrix that maintains your consciousness in a stable configuration. A crude description, but accurate. Then you're already dead, Verk said simply. The words hung in the air for exactly 0.23 seconds before Elsa's eyes snapped open. What happened next would be debated by xenobiologists and quantum theorists for centuries. To the assembled delegates, it appeared that Elsa simply looked at Judge Coranthes. But on the quantum level, something far more profound occurred. Elsa's consciousness, entangled with the fundamental quantum foam of reality itself, reached out across the probability matrix. She didn't attack the judge's physical form. She attacked every possible state the judge could exist in simultaneously. Every probability collapsed at once, every quantum superposition resolved to a single, inevitable outcome. Judge Coranthes ceased to exist. Not died, not destroyed, simply ceased, as if the universe retroactively decided the being had never achieved stable existence in the first place. The biomechanical shell that had contained its essence clattered to the floor, empty and inert. Chaos erupted. The quantum shackles binding Elsa and Verk flickered and died as Elsa's consciousness touched each probability of their continued function and found them wanting. The two humans stood free in the center of a room full of the galaxy's most powerful beings, and terror spread like a virus. She killed Coranthus without touching it. Impossible. The readings show she collapsed every quantum state simultaneously. How can an organic lifeform process that much information? Elsa raised her hand, and silence fell like a guillotine blade. When she spoke, her voice carried harmonics that resonated through multiple dimensions. You wanted to execute me for being dangerous. You were right to be afraid, but wrong about the reason. Verk moved to stand beside her, and for the first time the council saw them not as prisoners but as harbingers of something beyond their comprehension. When Verk spoke, his words carried calculations that most species would need supercomputers to process. Humanity didn't weaponize quantum consciousness. We evolved it. We're not soldiers. We're the next step. Your civilizations reached the stars and stopped growing, Elsa continued. You achieved technological perfection and called it paradise. You forgot that evolution isn't about perfection. It's about adaptation, struggle, survival. You forgot what it means to be truly alive. A brave delegate from the crystalline hierarchy, their body composed of sentient minerals, activated a quantum disruptor aimed directly at Elsa's position. The weapon fired, unleashing enough destructive force to shatter a planet's core. Elsa existed in the space between the weapon firing and the energy arriving. She observed every possible outcome, every potential trajectory, every quantum state the attack could manifest in. Then she simply chose to exist in the probabilities where the weapon had never been fired at all. The delegate's weapon dissolved into quantum uncertainty, along with the delegate itself. "Stop," someone screamed. "They're collapsing reality itself." "Not collapsing," Verk corrected, his mind calculating strategies across multiple timelines simultaneously. "Choosing. Every moment, reality branches into infinite possibilities. Most beings experience only one path. We experience them all and select our preferred outcome." The enormity of the revelation settled over the council like a shroud. These weren't just enhanced humans. They were beings who existed outside the normal flow of causality, who could observe and influence the fundamental structure of reality itself. Ambassador Lilnora of the Empathic Collective, known throughout the galaxy for wisdom accumulated over 10,000 years, stepped forward. Unlike the others, she showed no fear, only profound sadness. "You could destroy us all, couldn't you? Every species in this chamber, every civilization in the galaxy. You could collapse the quantum probabilities that allow us to exist." Elsa met the ancient being's gaze. "Yes." "Then why haven't you?" For the first time since the trial began, Elsa's expression softened. "Because despite your fear, despite your prejudice and your stagnation, you're still worthy of existence. You built civilizations that have stood for millions of years. You created art, philosophy, science. You loved and dreamed and struggled. That has value." Verk added, "Humanity's gift, or curse, is that we never stop struggling. We push against every limitation, break every rule, exceed every boundary. But we also remember compassion. We remember what it means to choose mercy when vengeance would be easier." "Your Galactic Council sentenced us to death for being dangerous," Elsa said, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber. "You were terrified of what we might become. But here's the truth you need to understand. We are what you could have been if you hadn't chosen safety over growth, stagnation over evolution." She gestured to the empty space where Judge Coranthus had been. "I killed the judge because they would have killed us. Self-defense, pure and simple. But I'm offering the rest of you a choice. You can continue to fear us, to see humanity as a threat to be eliminated. Or you can learn from us, remember what it means to grow and change and evolve." The silence that followed was absolute. 400 civilizations, some billions of years old, confronted by two humans barely into their third decade of existence, forced to reconsider everything they believed about the nature of power and evolution. Finally, Ambassador Thulnora spoke. "What do you want from us?" Elsa smiled, and in that moment she looked every bit the young woman she truly was, brilliant, fierce, and impossibly alive. "Leave Earth alone. Let humanity continue our experiments, our evolution. We'll stay out of your territories, respect your civilizations, but don't ever threaten us again, because next time I won't stop at one judge." "And if we refuse?" a voice called from the assembly. Verk's response was simple, devastating in its implications. "Then we collapse the quantum probability of the Galactic Council's continued existence, not destruction, simply the universe choosing a timeline where you never existed at all." The vote was unanimous. As Elsa and Verk walked free from the council chamber, heading toward the docking bay where their ship waited, Verk spoke quietly. "You know they'll still fear us, probably forever." "Let them," Elsa replied, her consciousness already ranging across the quantum foam, observing futures that hadn't yet solidified into reality. "Fear keeps them cautious, caution keeps them alive, and keeping them alive keeps us human. Do you think there are others like us, more quantum-entangled humans?" Elsa smiled, seeing probabilities cascade into infinite futures. "I know there are, hundreds scattered across Earth, and one day, when humanity reaches the stars not as visitors but as natives of the quantum realm itself, the galaxy will understand what we tried to tell them today." "What's that?" "That evolution never stops, that life finds a way, that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our courage, it's our refusal to accept that anything is impossible." Their ship launched from the council station, quantum drives carrying them across impossible distances in heartbeats. Behind them, the Galactic Council began the long, painful process of accepting that they were no longer the most advanced species in the universe. Humanity had taken its place on the galactic stage, not through conquest or domination, but through sheer, unstoppable evolution. And the universe would never be the same.